Okay, guys, so as you know, we're working on Charles, right? And we're trying to determine the overall theme of this text. Of course, there might be some underlying smaller themes, but right now we're trying to find out what the main theme is. So before we really dig into this, tell me, talk amongst yourselves, tell me what is your definition of theme and how do you determine a story's theme? So I'm going to give you Post-it notes. I'll give you two because I'm expecting you to answer both questions, okay? You can talk to one another. What is your own personal definition of theme and how do you determine the story's theme? I always try to say like if someone asks you, Mary, what's theme? How would you describe it? So go ahead, write it down. But you can confer with one another if you have to.
I think theme is the message of the story, like the main idea.
Well, I think it's like
Of what it's talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
Well, like
Main
the
idea and
lesson
theme is different,
of
right? So
like
what is
what's
the
trying to teach
theme?
you.
Good. Okay, I like that lesson. Lesson learned.
Determine it by context clues.
When you're ready, you could either come up or give it to me and I'll post it. So I heard lesson learned. Okay, I like that. Okay. Oh, everyone's kind of on the same page, which is actually very good. Malak, you can go post your first answer. Lamise, can I let her put yours up? First one, baby, over here, up here. Okay, yep. How's it going, John? The lesson? Go ahead, go put it up. Brian? Okay. Now I want you to focus on the second question. How do you determine a story's theme? A poem's theme, a story's theme. For our purposes, a story, okay? Can I put yours up? Mm-hmm. This one? That's the theme. Okay.
Can you say it again?
Yep. How do you determine a story's theme? Like you've just read the whole book and you're like, gee, I know that the author wants me to walk away with a certain message, right? Mm-hmm. But what is that message? What clues in the text told me this is about friendship? This is about loyalty. Okay? That's why I gave you one of my last pencils. So you don't have to deal with that? Okay. I want you to share your answer, okay? Okay, guys, start finishing up your final answer. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just go post it right there. And Lamise, I want you to come up and I want you to explain your response to the second question. Go ahead. You all get posted. All right, just Ryan, you ready? Okay. Okay. Malak, you all set? Okay, well, Malak is finishing up her final sentence, okay? I just want to share that most of you have a real commonality here in saying that for the theme is the overall message that the author is trying to convey. It's what the author is trying to prove to you, and I think that you're all on target with that, right? So theme generally is the message, right? And now I asked, how do you determine a story's theme? I didn't have a chance to read all your responses, but I will while you're working. But I want Lamise to read hers, and I want you to really listen because I think she's really on the money right here.
I said using text details and digging deeper into the author is like kind of hiding. So the author doesn't give you the theme right away, and it doesn't say it directly in the text. So you kind of have to like dig deeper and try to figure out what he's trying to prove. And I also said context clues, which also help you like if you say somebody asks you find the theme of the story, you can use like all the clues that the author's showing you to use it.
I love that. I think you said it better than what I was gonna say. Okay, did you hear what she said? The thing I wanted you to like hone in on there is the hiding part. Did you agree that it's digging deeper into the text and really trying to like pull out what he's hiding? Okay, and she used quotation marks when she was talking, and she even wrote quotation marks around the word hiding. So now we're gonna come up with our own definition of theme. So what do you want me to write? Dictate it to me. John, start us off.
The message.
Okay, so the message, Mary, finish his little phrase here. The message, what else?
I was gonna say the message too. The message of what the author's trying to
The
say.
message the author,
Trying to hide.
I don't think he's trying to say it. I think he's saying it. So can I just say the message the author is giving us?
Yeah.
Or telling us? Okay. Giving us. Now going back to the hide thing, implied. That's the word I want you to know. Implied. Okay? Theme is usually implied, okay? So we're gonna go over a couple examples from Hatchet in a minute, and I'm gonna show you. Implied means, for lack of a better word, like hiding. It's not stated. When we open a book, it doesn't say, you're gonna love this book about being loyal to your best friends, right? It doesn't say that. It develops the character so that you are able to say, wow, you know, this character really went out of her way to do what her best friend needed her to have done. And wow, later on in the text, the character didn't go to the school dance because her friend was sick, and so she spent the night at her friend's house while everyone else was at the school dance, right? So that's all about being a true friend. The author doesn't come right out and say it, it's hiding, it's implied. So thank you for that. That was a great segue into what we're doing. Okay, so now I want to give you some examples of Hatchet. Do you guys remember when you were in 5th grade and you read Hatchet? Do you remember it was in the text collection? It was in the text collection, and it was only an excerpt from it, and there's a real novel of it, and they actually made a movie out of it, not titled Hatchet. Okay?
Wait, is that the book?
It's the book about the boy getting stranded in the forest. Okay, so now here, I'm giving you a couple. Mary, just listen for a second. Okay, you don't have to know it from beginning to end. I just took a couple little excerpts, and I'm gonna show you how I figured out what I think the theme of this text is. Okay, Brian is a 13-year-old boy who is a single passenger on a small plane that is flying from New York to northern Canada. The pilot suffers a major heart attack. Brian takes charge and tries to land the plane. So now I have to use my context clues. I have to see what he's trying to hide. So this tells me, see in italics, this is me making my own inference about what I think the theme is. This tells me that he is quick thinking and determined to not let the plane crash. The guy's having a heart attack. What do? You sit there and let the guy have a heart attack? No, you try to jump in, spring into action. You try to do something. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so he crashes the plane after all. Okay, he crashes it into a lake in the forest. He's left all alone in the forest with nothing but his hatchet. You all remember what a hatchet is?
Yeah.
Okay, like a small hand axe. Yeah, small axe. He starts using the hatchet to carve out a piece of the plane to create a shelter. Well, he's all by himself in the woods. What's he gonna do? Sit there and like hug his knees and cry? Right? Is that gonna get him anywhere? No, so he has to figure out what he can do. Again, this tells me he's creative and he's determined to stay as safe as he can while he's in the woods. Sitting there crying is not getting him out of the woods, right? But he has this tool, so let's do something with this tool. Okay, next thing. throughout the summer, Brian learns how to survive in the vast wilderness with only his hatchet. He discovers how to make fire with the hatchet, and he eats whatever food he can find, such as rabbits, birds, turtle eggs, fish, berries, and fruit. All right, we eat berries, we eat fruit, we eat some fish. We're not known to eat rabbits. We're not known to eat birds. It says turkey and chicken, right? And we definitely don't eat turtle eggs. But you do what you have to do to survive, right? So this is an example of his determination to survive. Yes, I would rather have this rabbit as my cute little pet, but right now I have to kill it and eat it if I want to stay alive, okay? So last scenario, he deals with various threats of nature, including mosquitoes, a porcupine, a bear, a skunk, a moose, wolves, and even with a tornado. Over time, Brian develops his survival skills and becomes a fine woodsman. He crafts a bow and arrows and a fishing spear to aid in his hunting. So now this tells me that Brian is very resourceful, right? He uses everything around him and does whatever it takes to stay alive. This is the ultimate sign of perseverance and determination. So now I'm going to come up with my own conclusion, and I'm going to determine this story's theme. And I wrote, using these events from the text, I conclude that a theme for Hatchet is determination and/or perseverance. There could be lots of other themes, but I'm basing it on this. Do you understand? So you guys are going to have something like this. I'm going to give you little scenarios, and you just have to say, this sounds like selfishness, or this sounds like obliviation. The parents are oblivious to the kids' behavior. Okay, so you have to fill in kind of like what I did. Okay, so I gave you each a copy of Charles. I've also made for you a glossary of some words. I didn't give you a picture to go with the words, okay? Because I do that with the 4th and 5th graders. So I've given you a glossary in case there are some words that are a little bit challenging, because in my opinion, some of these words were a little tricky, okay? But I want to bring attention to the last word on the list, and that word is fresh. So when we say something is fresh, what usually comes to mind?
Like cool.
It's cool, so you're using it kind of like in slang term, right? Oh man, that's fresh, those sneakers are fresh, right? Definitely not used this way in this text, right?
Like
what else
acting
is
up?
fresh? When I go to the supermarket, am I buying fresh produce or am I buying all the rotted stuff? I'm buying the fresh stuff, so the new, the fresh, the crisp, okay? In this context, how is fresh used to describe Charles? He has a fresh mouth, acting up. Okay, this text is older. Okay, so the terminology in it is a little different than what we would hear today. Like most, I still say that my son is fresh because sometimes he is fresh, right? But sometimes we say, oh, he's a bad kid, or he's got a disgusting attitude, or something like that. But in this case, fresh is acting up, acting out. Okay, so you have your glossary. You have my examples of Hatchet. All right, I'm going to give you the activity now. So I want you guys to start talking right now about Charles. Refresh your memories about the story. Okay, and start thinking about how you're going to determine the theme.
So
Those are for you two.
Charles,
It's like Lori,
it's about
basically.
this
And he's a
kid
kindergarten.
that's in kindergarten, and he acts up when he goes, and in school he acts a lot.
Oh, what happened today at school? How was school?
And he learns
And then
about this kid
he
named
mentions this boy Charles.
There's this boy named
Like
Lori.
he say that Charles is
And
fresh for acting up and being
Lies
rude.
about
And then
like another
when
person
he goes home every
named
time
Charles.
Is he
did
lying
something.
about another person?
No, like it's a fake person. He made up a
Okay.
person.
Good.
cover his
So,
actions.
Yeah,
what?
To cover up his actions.
To cover up his actions.
so he won't get himself
in trouble.
In trouble.
Yeah.
Actually, this text was a lot of fun for me to read because it was one of those surprise endings. You know how some texts have like a circular ending, like it starts one way, goes through the whole series of events, and it kind of ends up right back in the beginning. This was like a real surprise ending, and it just ended abruptly. There was no there was no there was the climbing action, and then it kind of just was like Noah's dive, right? It was like, what? There's no trolls in this class. The end. Okay, so you guys know what you're gonna do. I'm gonna give you guys your assignment in a second. You guys are going to, I gave you lots of pages here, okay? You don't have to use all of these. Choose 5 or 6 of these scenarios. You could work together. You could do this independently. But ultimately, you need to determine like the behaviors here, the actions here, the attitudes here. How does it help you figure out the theme? Okay, like for the first one, I prefer that you kind of don't do the first one. Lori slams the front door, shouts, "Isn't anyone here?" To me, that's like, he's acting fresh, right? Like, who does this? Who walks in the house like this? You're 5 years old. You know, but you're not 5 years old, okay? It might be a little different for you. He's 5 years old. How dare you? Okay? So choose 5 or 6 that are ultimately going to help you determine the theme. All right? But before I set you off, what do we need to be successful at this task? What do we need to be able to do? Let me give us 1 point.
Like find the theme and like details to support it.
Okay. Well, the overall thing is we want to find the theme. So we want to look at details. Should I be looking at them or should I be looking at them closely? So what's like a word for that? Thank you, Ryan. I can analyze. ANLYZ. I can analyze text details. What else do I need to do? Other than just looking at text details, am I looking at character behavior?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the actions.
Okay. I can analyze again?
Oh.
All right. Analyze character, actions,
And then behavior.
behavior. One other thing. How about response? Not so much verbal response, but just the way the parents respond to him, right? Character, actions, behavior, and response. Like, are they really completely, think that
Yeah, they believe.
they completely believe Charles is real. So it kind of is like they're kind of detached almost from like who their kid really is, right? And me as a teacher, I've been in a lot of situations where I'm like, no, he's doing this and he's doing that, and they're like, well, he doesn't do that at home, and I'm like, yeah, right, right. Okay, anything else? One last, John?
You also analyze thoughts and character.
The thoughts, actually. Okay, character, actions, behavior, responses, and thoughts. Thank you, John. And lastly, we'll just do, I can determine a theme, right? What one?
See, we should go.
Thank you. Okay. I can determine a theme, or the theme, or if there's more than one theme. Period. Happy? Okay. Okay. So you guys could get going. You could work together if you'd like, if it's more beneficial to you. And you girls, I just wrote regular lined paper. You're gonna pull out your own scenarios, or actions, or thoughts, or behaviors, okay? I'm asking them to do about 5. I would like for you to do 4 to 5 as well, okay? I have pencils right here.
Your pencil's right there.
Come on, let's not waste time. I brought 12 brand new pencils for you guys. I know pencils are a hot commodity in schools. And I'm not into pens, so. All right, John, what do we got? No, don't you slam the door. Come on. Don't stop.